I took the job because it was close and paid cash. It was a mid-sized roadside motel off a state highway, the kind of place truckers stayed overnight and families used as a stop between long drives. Nothing fancy, just rooms, a small lobby, and a night shift that always felt longer than it should. The parking lot was almost always half full, but rarely noisy. Engines cooling. Doors opening and closing once, never twice. By midnight, even the highway sounded distant, like it had moved farther away than it actually had. I worked evenings and overnights. Room service, deliveries, cleaning common areas. The kind of job where you're alone most of the time. The loneliness wasn't uncomfortable at first. It was predictable. Hallways stayed the same. Sounds repeated themselves. I learned which ice machines rattled and which soda machines swallowed bills. There was one hallway on the third floor we were told not to use unless absolutely necessary. Not a rule written anywhere. Just something mentioned during training. The way it was said mattered more than what was said. Casual, like a reminder, not a warning. If a guest needed something from that side, we were told to let the front desk handle it. At first, I assumed it was because of renovations or long-term tenants. Hotels always have sections they quietly avoid. I never saw construction signs. No plastic sheets, no locked doors. Just a corridor that didn't come up in conversation unless someone made it. One night, near the end of my shift, the desk phone rang. A room on that hallway had called down asking for ice. The front desk clerk tried transferring the call to maintenance. No answer. She told me to wait until the manager got back from his break. The phone rang again. Same request. The clerk looked annoyed more than concerned and told me to just take it up. She said it was probably nothing, and she didn't want another complaint. I noticed she didn't write anything down. I took the ice bucket and headed upstairs. The hallway lights on that side were dimmer than the rest. Not broken, just turned down, like someone had adjusted them deliberately. The room was at the very end. I walked past doors that had no sounds behind them. No TVS, no air conditioning hum. Just silence that didn't feel empty. I knocked. The sound didn't travel far. It felt like the hallway absorbed it. There was a pause. Then the door opened slightly. I didn't see anyone's face, just the edge of the door and a hand reaching out. The hand reached out in a way that didn't make sense. The wrist was straight, like it hadn't been broken or forced, but the hand itself was turned backward. The fingers were bent in the wrong direction, like the hand was facing the opposite way from the arm it was attached to. I hesitated. The hand didn't move. It stayed perfectly still, like it was waiting for something specific. I set the bucket down and stepped back. The door closed without a sound. I stood there longer than I should have. Nothing else happened. When I got back downstairs, the clerk asked if everything was fine. I said yes. She didn't ask any follow-up questions. Later that night, I mentioned it to the manager. He listened quietly, didn't interrupt, didn't react the way I expected. When I finished, he said, "You didn't do anything wrong." Then he added, "Next time, just tell the desk to log the request." That was it. No explanation, no warning. He didn't ask me to describe the hand again. I didn't ask any more questions. A few weeks later, while covering an extra overnight shift, I noticed something odd in the system logs. I wasn't looking for anything, just killing time between check-ins. That room hadn't been checked into for months. No billing activity, no cleaning schedule, no maintenance notes. It was marked as inactive, but it still showed occasional service requests. All logged at night. All vague, ice, towels, blank entries with timestamps. After that, no one ever pushed back when I declined deliveries on that floor. They just nodded and marked something I couldn't see. I quit a month later. I still think about that hand sometimes. Not because it looked inhuman, but because it didn't match the space it came from. Like it belonged somewhere else.